Hey y'all, I'm going to apologize in advance because this is probably going to be a little lengthy. Um, but this is my Beachbody story, I guess, or how Beachbody has helped me, not so much just my Beachbody story because there's really a lot to it. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, but like I said, there's a lot to it. Um, I've had a really hard time sharing, I guess, my story because, well, for really a long time, even, um, let's see, I'm 5 months in, I think. Yeah, 5 months in. And the first 4 months, I didn't think I had a story for somebody to relate to. I just kind of was like, you know what? I haven't had a bad childhood. I didn't have this. I didn't have this. I don't really have a story for somebody to relate to. And that was kind of BS because I have had things that have been hard for me to deal with. And I just I wake up every day and I've decided to um, not ignore those things that how I was, in the past and stuff, but um, just that every day was going to be good. I was going to decide for it to be good. So I really don't dig into that anymore when I felt at my lowest. I just don't. I feel like lots of times my answers have been very superficial when people ask me why, um, what I've gotten the most out of my weight loss and how I felt before, and I just felt like I gave generic answers, like I lost weight because I felt bad in the mirror, because this, because that, and Beachbody's given me weight loss, and I fit in my jeans from high school, and this and that. And that's all great. It's all awesome, and it does make me feel better. But the ultimate thing that Beachbody has done for me is give me confidence that I never had before and help me embrace myself, my weirdness. If anybody's ever met me or talked to me or really watched my Facebook personal page or my like page, you can kind of tell that I'm a little weird. And used to, I don't know, I felt like that was a defect that I had, and now I kind of embrace that. And I would do that with, close friends and family, but um, I wasn't comfortable with it in front of everybody else. And now I just kind of, take me as I am or go away. So it's helped me a lot with that, which is really important. I would have never been able to talk to myself on the computer or anything if I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. So it's helped me with that, but I'll try to go over all this stuff. Um, I'm not really good at sharing like the negative stuff that's been hard for me because I've kind of numbed myself to all that. So I feel like I don't show much emotion to it. Um, it's it's not that I haven't dealt with things because I was super emotional as they went on. I just feel like I'm at another place and I don't even want to go back to that place mentally um, and emotionally. I just don't want to go there again. But I feel like if I don't share my story with y'all, I might be missing somebody that could relate to me. And I feel like, maybe nobody will relate to me, but if one person does and it helps them, then that's great. I didn't have a bad childhood. I had, I was fed, I was clothed, I played softball, I did lots of sports. I wasn't beaten, I wasn't like mistreated or anything like that. Um, Something that stands out to me a lot and that has molded really who I am is my mom's depression. Um, my mom struggled with depression. I don't know how long, but as long as I can remember. Um, the doctors never really found the right medicine that would help her. And she had a really hard time while I was growing up. Some days were great. We would literally go play, like drive back and forth to a different town because our town was really small, go to the lake, stuff like that. And other days I felt like she was in bed all day, and would easily cry and stuff like that. She didn't, I mean, like I said, I wasn't mistreated or anything. I just watched my mom struggle a lot, and I swore it was never going to be me. I didn't understand. I think I was really hard on her because of that. When things were harder on our family with money or something, I didn't understand why my mom just didn't get up and go to work or whatever. I didn't understand her depression, and that that she didn't have anything to help her, any medicine to help her or anything like that. So I was really angry with her most of my childhood, I'll say. And I don't even know if she knows that, but I was really rude to her. Very, very rude to her. I just didn't understand, and like I said, I swore I would never be like that. I was really weird as a child, and like I said, I didn't know how to embrace that. I got made fun of a lot for that. I was good at sports. I just had these awesome bangs. I think everybody's got a weird look when they're little, and some nice teeth I had to grow into. But I wasn't comfortable in my own skin, and anytime anybody, kids are kids, and they'll say things that are not very nice, and anytime somebody would say something to me, I just let it roll all over me. I was really upset. Eventually, I learned to fix my hair, and I grew into my teeth, and I was really involved in sports. Went to state for cross country and softball, and I played basketball and went to state in basketball. I wasn't, the best at anything. And I'm not trying to brag. I was always second best, except for softball. Softball I excelled in different towns where I stood out more, and then I'd move to a bigger place where there's more people, and I took it real hard when I wasn't the shining star. And I know that sounds terrible, but that just goes to show you how insecure I was. I was so competitive, and I feel like lots of people are like that, but they don't want to talk about it, and they don't want to say that they were insecure about not being the best one. But I'm trying to be truthful. So I'm going to tell you that when I came in second with different things, or second in our town, it was like I came in last place. I was so hard on myself. It was bad. I went from a town where I stood out, really small town where I stood out, and then I moved to bigger places where I wasn't the best, and I was like, I suck at everything, and I was just really hard on myself. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I had a war in my head just bashing myself. Like most girls bash themselves with their body. Well, I bashed myself with sports. Oh, you suck at this, and you suck at this. And that really got in my head and kind of just messed me up. Like I said, everybody would be like, oh, you did so good. You did this, you did that. And in my head, I would be like, you didn't do as good as this person. You didn't do as good as this. You could have done better. Even when I did stand out, as number one or whatever, I would still chop it down to, that was, that was okay. And I don't know if it was because I didn't want to brag, or if it was because I didn't feel like it was good enough. I don't know. But anyways, that just kind of shows you how insecure I was, no matter what I looked like, no matter, how good I was with the things I did, I still was hard on myself. I grew up in a really religious family, and that was a big part of my life. I set goals and standards for myself that I wanted to achieve with my religion, and I don't really want to get into all the gory details, but I will say that when we moved to Alaska, I wanted to fit in so bad, and I felt so alone because I grew up in Texas, and that was my home, and I just didn't know. I don't know. I knew how to make new friends easily, but it was a culture difference, like a huge culture difference, culture shock. Everybody did things differently. I was used to a group of people that went to church all the time and had the same morals, principles that I did, and so it was a lot easier. There was just a few that didn't share those beliefs, and then I went to a place where everybody had all different beliefs, and some didn't have the same morals and principles as I did, and I kind of fell into that. They were all still good people, they just had different values. So I gave in to a lot of things that I shouldn't have. Just because I wanted to feel loved and wanted that insecurity to go away. I just felt like I had to have somebody there. So, you always have that first boyfriend, and when that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, it kind of just, made my insecurities even worse. What's wrong with me? What did I do? Blah, blah, blah. And I'd given in to my, all the morals that I set for myself. And honestly, like with my parents, they weren't ashamed of me. My parents are both recovering addicts, and they were, they didn't come down hard on me. They were, I know they were disappointed, but they were there for me. They weren't, they didn't bash me or anything. But when I came back and visited my family in Texas, it felt, not with everybody, but with most people, it felt like they just couldn't handle me, like couldn't understand. They knew everything that I'd done because my dad had talked to him. And I didn't like rob a bank or anything, but just my family's really religious, and having a boyfriend and losing your virginity was just a no-no. And then there was just a lot of things that I think my family didn't understand, and so I kind of felt like the black sheep when I came back to visit everybody, and my parents weren't with me, so I didn't really have anybody in my corner. It didn't feel like. Anyways, when I went back for my visit to Texas, I felt even worse. Like, just felt like shit, honestly. Sorry. But I felt terrible. I remember just crying all the time and just feeling like I had ruined my life. You're dramatic when you're a teenager anyway, but I just took all that, and I don't know, I just thought that I wasn't good enough for somebody now. And then I met, which I don't talk about a lot, and you probably don't, many of you that don't know me, except for on Facebook, you may not know. I came back from Texas, and like not even a month later, not even a couple weeks later, I met the person who was my first husband. And I liked him. He was like he was kind of the bad boy of his school. He went to a rival school, and in my head, I thought that was cool. And we started dating, and he genuinely loved me, and I loved him too. I don't know, that was the first person that I felt loved me back, and I jumped onto that. I decided to graduate high school a year early and finished all my classes online. I decided not to take a softball scholarship that I had to Arizona State. I decided to get married and have a family. And let's see, within 3 months of dating, we got married, and then 3 months after that, we got pregnant with my first daughter, Lily. And I'm not saying that rushing it when you know, or going with your speed when you know is bad, but at 17, I was just really insecure, and I wanted that love. I wanted that partner. I wanted that, TV love story. And so I really jumped into it. I think I was scared that if if I wasn't with somebody that loved me right then I would never have a chance for somebody to love me again. And really, I don't regret it because I wouldn't have my daughters, Lily and Cindy. But what I do regret is that I wasn't in love. And, I had those feelings before I got married that, I loved this person. He was my friend, but I wasn't in love. And I knew that I had those feelings before I got married. And I just kind of pushed them aside to being nervous about getting married and blah, blah, blah. And, I looked at my parents got married when my mom was 17 and they were still together. So, it works. That's kind of what I chopped it up to. So, anyway, you can see full circle that my insecurities were completely making my decisions for my life. We got married. I moved him from Alaska to Texas because honestly, I couldn't stand Alaska. It's a beautiful place, but I missed home. And I just wanted to have a family where I grew up. So I moved us back here, and we, moved around different towns for his job for a few years, and then we finally bought a house bought a manufactured home on my grandparents' land, a new built one. And I thought I had everything that I needed, that I wanted. I had 2 kids. One of them was 1, the other one was 3. I was married. I had a nice home. I lived where I wanted to live. I always said I wanted to live out on my grandparents. I was really close to my grandparents, and that's where I always wanted to be. So, in a storybook, I had everything that I ever wanted, and I was still unhappy. I would still catch myself going days where I would just sleep until like noon. The kids would just sit there in the bed staring at me, basically. I would get up with little motivation. I didn't want to go see anybody. I didn't want to go do anything, and I kind of just reclused myself. I finally realized I had exactly what I had hated and what I was trying to get away from my whole life, and was diagnosed with depression. And when I was in high school, I was diagnosed with PMDD, which is like, worse PMS. You do crazier things. But anyway, when I was diagnosed with depression, I would get on my medicine, but I'd like take it one day, not take it for a few days, take it one day, not take it for a few days. And then I eventually just quit because I wasn't seeing any difference. I was all over the place. I'd gotten a little bit overweight, so I decided that I was going to start dieting and exercise. And I did Weight Watchers. And the problem with me and Weight Watchers is, in my head, those points were points to not get to. So I would run 6 miles, work out for an hour on the elliptical, do push-ups, and then eat like a banana and like a little tiny serving of whatever we had for dinner, and that's it. Like, I starved myself. I never thought that I was anorexic. I didn't even, I was telling my upline yesterday, trying to tell her that I couldn't share my story. And we were talking about how I've never had an eating disorder or anything, and I got to thinking about how I treated my body, when I was married the first time after my second child, and we had everything we wanted, and I started working out and stuff, and I was anorexic. It wasn't like I don't know why. It was like just a quicker way to lose weight. In my head, I don't know. And I did never get dizzy or anything like that, so it worked for me. I finally, I don't know, I started just seeing that I wasn't in love. we had physical altercations, and basically any attraction that I ever had there was gone after that. I just I don't know, when you trust somebody and you just see them a certain way, all that was gone when things got physical. And I wasn't like, bruised and battered. I wasn't beat up on or anything. There was just a couple physical altercations, minor, and we had a hard time with that because they didn't want to be talked about after that. There were apologies and everything else, but I kind of realized, you know what? I love this person, but I'm not in love. Now all attraction is gone. Like, I just can't do this anymore. And I kept going back and forth for months without even saying anything. What am I going to do? My family's going to disown me. How do I live on my own? I have everything I want, and I'm going to give all this up because I'm not in love and because I don't have attraction for this person anymore. So I had a hard time. I talked to one person, and that was my cousin, and I did never tell her that I was thinking about leaving or not. Well, I did tell her that, but I didn't tell her that I wasn't in love anymore. I just told her that I was having a really hard time with our physical altercation and seeing things different after that. And like I said, it wasn't beat and battered. I didn't have a black eye or anything. It was just a physical altercation, and it was over something so stupid too. But of course, it probably always is. And I was told that that he wasn't trying to hurt me. That it was like disciplining a child. So that was hard. I mean, I don't think anybody ever wants to be told that, but that was difficult. And I'm not one of those people to stick around when stuff like that happens. I had one boyfriend that grabbed my arm wrong, and I dumped him right there. So I'm just going to tell you that I don't do the whole stick with it and wait for, it to get better, because in my head, you might be waiting for it to get worse. Now, don't get me wrong. By nature, he is not a physical person or a violent person. I think we just brought out more bad in each other than good. Or at least I was not feeling good about myself. Anyway, so finally, it all came to blows. And instead of telling anybody how I felt, what I was thinking, what I was going to be doing, I just basically lost it. Had my whole PMDD moment where I go completely berserk. Instead of, saying I can't do this anymore and sitting down and having a logical adult conversation. Mind you, I was only 21 when this happened. But instead of doing that, I just left. It was very ugly. It was, I did not show my best self. I didn't know how else to exit and say I wasn't happy in the marriage anymore and that I couldn't do it anymore without it being like a dramatic exit. I don't know. I don't know if it was lack of medication. I don't know if it was my age. I don't know. I know a lot of it was my fear of disappointing my family and my fear of not being able to take care of my girls. I didn't work ever. I was able to be a stay-at-home mom, and I went to school online, did college online, and so I didn't feel like I had much to offer my kids. So I made my dramatic exit, and my family basically thought I'd lost my mind. In fact, some of them told the people that I hung out with that I was crazy, so that sucked. I wasn't crazy by any means. I just didn't know how to deal with deal with what I was feeling and share that with people. As you can tell, that hasn't changed, but I had a hard time sitting down and being like, you know what, this is the way I've been feeling for a long time. And then when this physical altercation happened, it just all came to blows. And instead of just sitting down and explaining it rationally, I didn't know what else to do, and I reacted badly. That's what I should have done. It still wouldn't have been accepted, but I think it would have gone a lot better. I had, my grandparents reach out, and they wanted me to live with them so they could take care of me, but I'd never been on my own before. I went from my parents to my husband's house, and I wanted to learn that I could do it on my own. I needed that bad. Even if I struggled, I wanted to know that I could do it on my own. There wasn't that I didn't have to have somebody that was in charge of my life and my future. I needed that for myself. So I went on my own. I didn't make the best decisions. I didn't know how to handle single life. I didn't know how to handle not having a house every day, or everything depending on me. I got part-time jobs, but I was making, little to nothing and had not very many hours at all. Not enough to take care of kids. We were in the middle of divorce stuff. And so I didn't want to, file for food stamps or anything like that, which I should have, but I didn't want to. And so I didn't have anything. My grandmother was basically taking care of our kids, while I was trying to find out what the heck I was going to do, get settled. I swore I was never going to get married again. And I was like a couch hopper. Wherever I could find a place to be, I would set out, move my stuff in somewhere and be like, you know what, this is where I'm going to be. And then I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit still for too long. I didn't want to sit down and deal with what was going on. I didn't want to deal with my family, talking about me through the town. And I'm sure most of it was concern, but I knew that they were talking about me. I'd heard people that came up and told me, your family's saying this, and everybody's watching what you're doing, and what are you thinking, and this and that. And so I felt really alone again. And that made me even madder, to where I didn't want to open up to them. I didn't really talk to anybody at that point, except new people that I hung around. I wasn't embarrassed of my decision. I was embarrassed of how I handled my decision. And I was upset. I was just upset. But anyways, none of that is, I could go on and on about that, but that is why this is so important to me. I went and I met my husband, that I have now. I didn't want to meet him. I was having fun dating around. That sounds bad, but that's what I was doing. I was just dating people, and I didn't want to find anybody, honestly. I guess that's what was in my plan, or not in my plan, and that's what was supposed to happen. But when I met my husband, he pretty much told me that he was going to be my husband, and that he was going to take care of me, and he helped find me a better job in the town that I had moved to, next to the one that I was in before. And I'd get scared of relationship and try to run, and he'd basically just be like, you're not going anywhere. I'm going to follow you if you do. Yeah, I know that sounds stalkerish. It was kind of that way. But he, I don't know, he didn't give me the option to not, and I felt chemistry with him right off, but I just didn't even let myself go there. And finally I gave up. I say finally, it wasn't that long, but it felt like a long time for me. I just gave in, and I was like, you know what? This person loves me. I have feelings for him already. I'm not going to ignore them anymore, just because I vowed to myself not to get married, just because this is not the right timing. in people's books just because, whatever. I wasn't going to let other people's timing and idea of what the right time was define my decisions in my life. So we got married, had 2 more babies, and I actually, when I got pregnant with my son, which was my 3rd child, I actually got on depression medicine. My husband had, in his family, had dealt with depression and knew, what I was dealing with and stuff. And I started taking medicine for that every day. I felt great. His family accepted me right off the bat, and I don't know, I fit in with him really well. So that was a breath of fresh air. I didn't feel alone anymore. He loved the girls like they were his own. He always says he has 4 kids. He doesn't ever say he has 2, or he doesn't say he has 2 step-kids and 2 other kids. He just accepts them as his own. He's always worked with me, with my ex-husband, and even when things have been hard to deal with, he hasn't gone anywhere. He loves my weirdness for some reason. Probably because he's super weird too. He's accepted all my past. None of that. So my insecurities were a lot better from that. But I still had lots of insecurities with my body, with not being an athlete anymore, and everything like that. I feel like I'm rambling, and I'm sorry if I'm boring the crap out of y'all, but I feel like all of these things are important steps to why I am where I am. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is, the end, the most important part. I told you that as I was younger, I was mad at my mom basically for depression, and then I ended up having it myself, and I was even more pissed off. And I finally was like, you know what? I'm not going to let a condition that I have rule my life. I'm not going to sit in the bed until 12 o'clock. I'm not going to feel bad and cry all the time. I'm not going to. I'm just going to get up every day, move on, be better than I think I can be. And that is my mindset every day when I get up now. Even when I have a bad day, I'm still like, I'm getting out of bed. I'm getting out of bed. Like, this is what I'm doing. I have things I need to do today. Even if I just get out of bed and sit with the kids and watch TV, that's better than laying in the bed. So, every day, that's what I do. Every day. I don't make the excuse that I have depression or PMDD. I don't. That is made easier and better since I started Shakeology and since I started eating better. And when people would say, oh, if your insides are clean and happy, your outsides are clean and happy, I was like, you people are on crack. Honestly, I thought people were crazy that were super obsessed with their fitness, with their health, and how they were just all happy all the dang time. And then I became one of them. Woohoo! I did, I started losing weight after my second kid, lost 20 pounds here doing Insanity and Turbo Fire, but I didn't really change my eating. Then I, plateaued really bad, and I was like, oh, I can't lose this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And I found 21 Day Fix on Instagram through my now coach, Jen, and I was like, you know what? This sounds like something I need that'll help my portion control, my eating. The nutrition guide seems easy. It's got cool little portion containers, 30-minute exercises. I can do this. 21 days versus a 90-day program, or what are the other ones? 60 or 90-day program. I can do this. This is something I can follow. And I got it. And 3 days after I started using it, and taking the Shakeology, my mood was better. I was up in the morning doing the dishes, cleaning the house. I was all over the place. My husband was like, whoa, calm down. What's wrong with you? in a good way. Um, and I just felt better, and I was like, you know what? I have to get my Shakeology every month discounted because this is a natural mood stimulant. I feel better. My insides feel clean and happy, and my outside feel clean and happy. So I jumped on the coaching bandwagon, talked to Jen about it, and I was just going to be a discount coach, and I really had no intentions of anything else. And then people kept asking me, what's 21 Day Fix? What are you doing? How have you lost this weight? How this? What's making you feel so good? And I literally had 2 coaches jump on the bandwagon real quick, right off the bat. And I was like, you know what? I like helping people, and I like that I could make this a part-time job. I could at least pay for my Shakeology every month by getting, a few people to get Shakeology. So that was where my mindset was then. And I did Rock the Basics, which is where you learn about Beachbody and how to do it. And I already loved the products, so it came natural to me because I'd used them for so long. Shakeology I hadn't at the time, but I'd used everything else for so long, and I loved them. I knew the programs were great. So it came natural to talk about them. I hadn't done all of them at the time, but I learn about them every day, and now I have most of them. So I don't know. Every day I feel better. I wake up and I feel like I can take on the world. And I slowly kept getting more coaches, and people would tell me, like, your goal should be this, and you're close to this rank, and I was like, what are you talking about? Well, after Rock the Basics, I learned all this stuff, and I've set my goals. I want to eventually be a diamond. That would be so cool to be a diamond, at the end of the summer. That was in March that I said I'm going to be a diamond by the end of the summer. And then April rolled around, and I was really close to it. And May 22nd rolled around, and I was a diamond. I'd added 8 coaches, and I was shocked. I was like, really? Like, that was my goal for months from now, and I've achieved this. I went to, Vegas. A whole new world to me has been opened up because of this, and I just keep gaining confidence. Yes, the weight loss helps. I'm not going to say like confidence doesn't come from your weight loss, but I feel like that's a generic story for me. I'm happy because I lost 45 pounds. Yes, I lost 45 pounds, and I feel awesome about it. Don't get me wrong. I worked my butt off, literally, to get those 45 pounds off. But what is even more important is I can talk to my computer now. I can be myself. I can be weird, and I'm okay with that. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. I have had, so far, in my face, not behind my back. There's no telling how many haters are behind my back. But I've had 2 haters, go on my like page and be like, just whatever. You look 6 months pregnant still, and you this, and you this. Did anybody tell you this? And you know what? For the first time ever, I didn't let it get me down at all. I was like, you know what? That says a lot about them. I feel sorry for you. Like, that is my confidence now. I don't feel better than anybody by any means, but I just feel better about me. And that's what I want everybody to feel. Weight loss is good, to get you to a healthy place where where your weight's supposed to be. That's important. But more than anything, being healthy on the inside and the outside, not just with your eating, but with your mind, treating your body better, and not letting your excuses that are legitimate excuses. Depression, I feel like, is a legitimate excuse. PMDD is a legitimate excuse. I have children. They're a legitimate excuse. All those things are legitimate excuses, but not letting those things come in between you and your goals and your dreams and your confidence in yourself are really important. Taking care of you is the best way to take care of your family. If I'm not feeling good and I'm not, on top of my Shakeology every day, my workouts, trying to help other people, trying to better myself, then I'm not helping my kids. I just feel so much better. And now this is a career. It's a dream career where you're helping somebody all the time. You're just helping people. You set your own schedule. I can put as much time into this or not into it as I want to. If I want to take days off, I can take days off. If I, whatever I want to do, I can do it. The more I can take this as far as I want it to go, or, not as far. I can do whatever I want to with it. I set goals every month to help a certain amount of people a month. And that's what I do. And that gives you even more confidence when you have people saying, thank you so much, you helped me. You gave me confidence. You made me feel better. I fit in my high school jeans. I fit in my skinny jeans. I fit in whatever. That feels good when people are saying thank you because you invested time in them. So really, I feel like I have a dream job. I get to do things that I loved when I was a kid, being in sports and athletics. And I get to be my weird self and be comfortable with it now. And I get to just help other people feel the same way. Even if they're not weird like me, just help them feel comfortable in their own skin with whatever personality or personalities that they have. And that's why Beachbody has helped me. That is my story. And yes, it is long, but I feel like every part of those things, those are the main parts that molded me and got me to where I am. Like I said, every day I wake up and I'm going to kick the day's ass. I'm going to set out and reach my goals. Like, here's me, here's my goals, here's how I'm going to achieve them. And that is just that's what everybody has to do. You can't say, here's me, here's my goals, but this is getting in the way, so let's move our goals down here. Oh, no, I have depression, can't do that. Oh, nope, I have kids. Oh, no, so I didn't do anything today. You just can't do that. You have to decide, wake up every day and decide, no matter what, you're going to do something. It's hard. It's not easy, but you'll be so much happier if you just suck it up and do it. I don't know how else to explain it, and I'm not trying to be rude or, put people down that do have excuses. I'm just telling you, if you beat those excuses, whether they're legitimate or not, you'll feel so much better. So, anywho, hopefully I didn't talk your head off, and if you have any other questions about my story or me or let's see, what else could you have questions about? Being a coach or joining a challenge or fitness programs or Shakeology, you can always shoot me a message on Facebook, or my email is healthyfitcharissa@gmail.com, and I'll post that on here as well as my Facebook page. And hopefully I didn't bore you to tears.